Hello and welcome to Lesson 1 of our English Conversation series, where the goal is not to memorize rules or translate every word in your head, but to slowly and comfortably train your ears to understand natural English as it is spoken in real life, at a normal speed, with real rhythm, real pauses, and real expressions that native speakers actually use every day.
That's right. And before we begin, we want you to relax, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that you do not need to understand every single word you hear. Because learning to listen in English is not about perfection. It is about becoming familiar with the sound of the language and feeling comfortable even when you don't catch everything.
In this lesson, we will focus on helping you get comfortable with natural English listening by showing you how native speakers connect words together, change their speed, and use tone and emotion to communicate meaning, often without speaking very clearly or slowly like in traditional language textbooks.
Many English learners feel nervous when they listen to real English conversations, especially movies, podcasts, or native speakers talking to each other. Because the words seem to disappear, the sentences feel too fast, and the pronunciation sounds completely different from what they learned in school.
If you feel that way, you are not alone. And more importantly, there is nothing wrong with you or your ability to learn English. Because this challenge happens simply because natural spoken English follows patterns that are very different from written English or classroom English.
Today, instead of testing you or asking you questions, we want to guide you through a gentle listening experience where you can focus on the sound, the flow, and the feeling of English without pressure, without stress, and without the need to respond or repeat anything out loud.
As you listen, try to avoid translating the sentences into your native language, and instead allow your brain to absorb the sounds naturally, the same way children learn their first language, by hearing it again and again in meaningful situations.
For example, when native speakers talk, they often connect words together so that instead of hearing every word clearly, you hear one smooth sound, like "whatcha doing" instead of "what are you doing?" or "gonna" instead of "going to." And this is completely normal in spoken English.
Another important thing to notice is that English has a rhythm, which means some words are stressed and spoken more clearly, while other words are softer, faster, or almost hidden. And usually the most important words are nouns, main verbs, and adjectives, not small grammar words.
So if you ever feel lost while listening, don't panic, because even native speakers do not hear every word perfectly all the time, and they rely on context, tone, and key words to understand the message.
Now, let's imagine a simple real-life situation together, where two people are having a casual conversation, and your job is not to understand everything, but to notice how the language sounds and flows naturally.
Imagine you are sitting in a cafe, maybe after work or on a weekend, and you hear two people at the next table talking casually about their day, their plans, and how they are feeling, without thinking about grammar or pronunciation.
One person might say something like, "Yeah, it's been a pretty long day, but honestly, I'm just glad it's finally over and I can relax a bit." And notice how the sentence flows smoothly without clear breaks between every word.
And the other person might respond with, "I know exactly what you mean. Today felt endless, but at least tomorrow looks a little easier," where the feeling and tone tell you as much as the words themselves.
Even if you didn't catch every word in those sentences, you probably understood the general idea, which is that both people are tired but hopeful, and that is exactly how listening comprehension works in real life.
This is why listening to English regularly, even when it feels difficult, is one of the most powerful ways to improve your understanding, because your brain slowly learns the patterns, the sounds, and the rhythm without conscious effort.
At first, your brain may feel tired or overwhelmed, and that is completely normal because it is working hard to process a new language. But over time, listening will start to feel easier, more familiar, and even enjoyable.
One helpful tip is to listen to the same audio more than once, because the first time you listen, your brain is just getting used to the sound, and the second or third time, you will suddenly notice words and phrases that you completely missed before.
Another helpful habit is to listen without subtitles sometimes, because while subtitles can be useful, relying on them too much can prevent your ears from truly learning how English sounds naturally.
If you ever feel frustrated, remind yourself that understanding spoken English is a skill, not a talent, and skills improve with gentle practice, patience, and consistency, not by forcing yourself or feeling bad about mistakes.
In this series, we will gradually increase the difficulty of conversations, introduce common expressions, and help you feel confident listening to English in real-life situations like work, travel, social conversations, and everyday activities.
For now, your only task is to listen, relax, and trust the process, because every minute you spend listening to natural English is training your brain, even if you don't realize it yet.
Before we end this lesson, take a moment to notice how you feel compared to the beginning and see if English sounds just a little more familiar, a little less scary, and a little more approachable than before.
You're doing great, and the fact that you're here listening right now already means you're making progress, even if it doesn't feel obvious yet.
Thank you for spending this time with us, and in the next lesson, we'll explore everyday English phrases and expressions that native speakers use all the time, so you can start recognizing them naturally when you listen.
Until then, keep listening, stay curious, and remember that fluency grows quietly with every conversation you hear.